Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be casting a game I played on the StarCraft 2 arcade called Dungeon Master. Now this game is similar to a D&D settings where you have a set of players roaming through a dungeon, killing monsters, leveling up, and their end goal is to get to the end of the dungeon to kill the boss. And what happens is there's one player who plays as the Dungeon Master, and his or her goal, is to prevent the players from getting towards the end of the dungeon to kill the boss. So, and here's the boss, and what happens is someone either has to pick to play the Dungeon Master, or someone either well, if no one picks Dungeon Master, then somebody will be randomly selected, and I so happen got lucky and was selected to play Dungeon Master. Now, if you're a beginner, I recommend you play Hero because Dungeon Master is a lot harder. You actually have to know what you're doing. You have to basically build structures to kind of spawn monsters. You have to build other structures to research upgrades for your monsters that you spawn, or other buildings that you want to build to prevent the other players from getting through. Now, prior to this, I did play a couple games before this one where someone else was playing Dungeon Master, and he did pretty well, but we still ended up getting towards the end of the dungeon and killing the boss. And I guess the second game we played, the person was saying like, "Oh, it's so hard playing Dungeon Master," and then uh, at the beginning of the second game, before the game even started, he was talking about how it's very difficult, and then someone else started giving him some tips about playing Dungeon Master, and I didn't really pay attention to that because um, I felt like I was never gonna play Dungeon Master, and then it so happened on the third game, I ended up being randomly chosen to play Dungeon Master. So you can see here, I'm like trying to figure out how to play Dungeon Master. I played it maybe twice before this in other games, and I basically died miserably because I had no idea what I was doing. So, so something to note is that when you play this, you have to go through two dungeons. So the first dungeon you play, you get to the end game, and then you kill the boss, and then you have to restart another dungeon again. And what happens is all the players get transported to another map with everything with all their experience that they gained from the previous map to the new map. So they have to play two maps and kill two bosses. So for me, I was just trying to figure out what to do. I was just looking at all the things I can do, trying to build things. Um, and I think this was like research building, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should spawn some monsters, and these were actually some buildings that you can actually spawn monsters. I built them over here. I don't know why. I was just like doing whatever's, and prior to doing this, I recall playing the two games before this. I noticed that the dungeon master playing it, he or she actually researched he researched like these tower upgrades. You can actually build towers, but it's limited because it's limited. See, I was trying to like look through everything. I was like, oh, maybe I should research this because I remember the person prior to this game, playing the last two games. He actually built these cannon towers, and they were really annoying they because they did a lot of damage, and it was a pain in the butt to deal with, and I was like, oh, maybe I should do that too. And I really didn't do much during this map except just try to research as much as possible. I wasn't even sure if that was even a good idea, and I was just like looking through everything. I was like, oh my god, I think I'm gonna die miserably, and I just kept looking around. I was like, oh, maybe I should build a hero, get extra person to help out with fighting. and I really was just trying to figure out what to do, because this is as far as I got before. I remember I played Dungeon Master before, and I just didn't know what to do. I didn't do anything. I just kept watching, what was going on. I was like, okay, this, that. But I really was just, the whole point of this game was to just try to learn how to play the game. And I was just doing whatever I can to try to figure out what to do. And I kept trying to build stuff. That was the whole point. Just building stuff, making sure I get as much research as possible. As you can see, I was just looking through everything, trying to research. I don't know what I just researched over there. And then I kept spawning creatures to prevent them from to try to I just kept spawning creatures to kind of slow their push towards this boss. I mean, I know that it's not going to end after. I know it's not going to end after they kill this boss, but I was just doing everything I can to prevent them from getting there. So I mainly just focused more on research, doing all the research I can. I didn't really care too much at the moment of trying to prevent them from getting any further, because I really had no clue what to do at the moment. I just kept trying to figure out how to uh, how to basically uh, navigate everything, and I was like, and then I remember um, people they would spawn something here to make yourself stronger, and I think I did the wrong thing. I wasn't supposed to spawn a dark portal here. Dark portal, you spawn an extra hero for you to roam around the map and fight things, and I actually built it at the very beginning spawn point. I was trying to actually build there was like this unit that you can build that makes you stronger if they don't end up killing it after 4 minutes or something. I was trying to do that and I didn't know how, because I've seen other dungeon masters do it. I was like, I want to do that, and cause them to have to run back, because the longer you have them the longer you have, the longer the game goes, the stronger the dungeon master gets. So as you can see in the bonus objective at the very top, it says delay and distract heroes. You become stronger over time. So I think like every um, and then you see this timer here. So once the timer goes down to 0, then it just adds another number to the 12. So it's instead of 212, it's gonna be 312. So that was the goal, and then over here, I was telling them, sorry, I don't know how to play Dungeon Master, because I really didn't. I was just doing whatever I could to figure it out, and then the people that were playing were telling me, oh, it's fine, dude, it's fine. You can just, they were having fun because nothing was pushing them back, and they were having fun. They didn't have to worry about it. They were enjoying killing monsters, doing all this stuff. And I was just like, oh my god, I'm gonna die miserably like the other times that I've died miserably. And I was just like looking all over the place, trying to figure out what can I do. I just kept clicking on things as I get more money. I'm like, okay, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. I'm just gonna do everything. I ended up, so just looking back at this game, I ended up researching a bunch of stuff that I ended up not using. So it was kind of like, okay, I kept researching all this stuff, but I ended up not actually using them for the most part, which maybe I should have utilized. And it's getting closer. They're roaming closer and closer to the boss, and I'm like, oh no, they're gonna get closer. And I was just freaking out. I was like, oh gosh, I gotta do this. I don't know. I just started, pressing all these buttons. I even destroyed my grips. Oh shoot! I destroyed my grips, and I was like, I didn't realize I should not have destroyed them. If I had known, I would have built them further back. That way, they wouldn't be able to destroy them. And now I'm like scrambling. Like, oh no, they're gonna get closer to me. Oh wait, I can't go back up. So I started spawning them again. Uh, and then I started spawning them again. But then I was like, I just didn't know what to do after that. I was like, oh, maybe I should build a bunch of spiders. And I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna try and build some extra units to fend them off. And something, I even tried to build it. But something else, as you get stronger, as you get stronger over time, like as that timer goes down and you start to unlock more units, more powerful units. So that's why it's beneficial to try to delay the heroes, delay the players from getting, try to delay the game as long as possible. So the longer it's delayed, the higher chance you'll get strong units. So that's why you want to delay them as long as possible. And I wasn't doing a very good job. I wasn't doing, and I was just constantly doing random things, and then my hero spot here, I was like, oh wait, oh shoot, I was like, oh shoot, I gotta figure out how to get there. So I had to walk all the way around. It's ridiculous. And they're creeping closer and closer. It's just like, it was very uh, it was just very scary because they kept pushing closer and closer. And I didn't know what to do. I was just constantly researching stuff, and I knew I was gonna be doomed. And oh, I actually unlocked tier 2, and I was just looking at the units. I was like, what can I build? What can I build? What can I build? And I remember previous playing, previous games, not just the prior to, but other games where the dungeon master would build range units, and I think I was trying to build range units. I was looking for these range units. As you can see, these are the players that they're getting pretty strong, getting closer, and I was trying to build this little spawning thing. The goal is when you build that and the heroes are in that range, you get minerals. So I was like trying to scramble to get a bunch of spawning units. And I think at one point I built a bunch of range units. I yeah, these archers. And the goal of these archers is they're pretty good because uh, they end up actually shooting. I kind of pushed them back, I believe. If I remember, I pushed them back. Oh gosh, it's kind of laggy. I remember I pushed them back a little bit because I had all these like archers, and I kind of pushed them back in a way. Like, I mean, I know the boss is just dying outright. I did push them a little back. See, the paladin died. I killed the paladin, and I just kept pushing them back a little bit. But it was hopeless because they were doing so well already, and I felt like it was kind of over, and I couldn't really go any further. Actually, I didn't realize I actually did pretty well. If I ended up killing that priest, because that priest was really. Oh, I also kept these archers up here to shoot them, because if they don't if they don't have if they can't see above the ground, then they can't really. So I started building a ton of archers and just put it up here to prevent it. So they're going back to heal, and then they're gonna come back and try to do another round of attacks. And oh gosh, it's lagging like really bad. I don't know why. And I think that's what they're trying to do. So I'm standing here shooting them. I was like, oh, why I keep missing? So I'm like, oh, maybe I should jump down and fight. I gotta jump down and fight. I decided to just jump down and help them. I was like, oh no, he's gonna, I'm gonna shoot him. But I keep missing. I kept missing, so I decided to shoot someone else instead. I was like, no, I'm gonna shoot someone else. I'm gonna shoot them. I'm gonna shoot them. And I was like, oh no, I gotta shoot the priest. I gotta shoot the priest. Shoot the priest. Oh no. But it was kind of hopeless. I couldn't fend them off anymore. The boss was just too low in health, and it was over. Yeah, I pretty much lost this map, and they did fairly well. I only delayed them up to 4, and then this is the second map. As you can see, the second map, I was like, again, I was just looking over, trying to figure out what to do. I built some crypts, a that's I kind of understood like, oh, maybe I shouldn't build them in the front. I tried to build them right in front of the boss. That way, it's difficult for them to get in. If they try to get in, if they try to walk in from the front, it would be a little difficult for them to do. And at this point, I was thinking, huh, what can I do to prevent them from, you know, what can I possibly do? And I kept trying to figure out where to put this thing to get more money, get more gold. And then I think over here, this was probably the turning point to the game where I started building these towers. I think the main thing is get these towers up and running, and that way you can build those cannon towers. So this is what I was doing. I should have done it faster, but I was more focused on other things. And then this is when I started building more. I was like, oh wow, I'm just gonna keep building these towers. Because I remember someone actually did that, where they built a bunch of towers in the back, and it helped out defending the boss, because when the players actually come, they have to decide who to attack. Should they attack the boss, which is that high builder, or should they attack the towers? And 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 if they do decide to attack the boss, by the time they try to attack the boss, those towers will be shooting them. So that was one of the things I was thinking of doing. I was like, oh, maybe I should build a bunch of these towers to prevent them from, you know, to kind of push them back. But that wasn't really my strategy. My strategy was to try to figure out how do I, how do I, how do I set this up so I don't die. And I should have been focused on basically my in the area where the boss was. I should have been focusing on that versus trying to delay them, because I think it's more important to build these towers up right now. And there's actually a cooldown, because um, you don't want the dungeon master to be able to spam a bunch of towers. So you have to wait for a cooldown. I don't know how long it is, but the goal is to just mass a bunch of them. So I'm sitting here waiting for the cooldown, and I realize, oh, I still have my archer that I built from last game. And I was just looking at other ways to, kind of do this. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna build more towers. So you keep building more towers. And I think towards the end, I had like maybe 8. And each of those towers actually do 50 damage per shot. So if you have 8 of them doing 50 damage, that's like 400 damage per hit. That's if they hit you, but most of the characters, they only have like maybe 500, 600, 700, depending on which character you select, you get that much, that many amount of, you know, you get that many amount of hit points. And then over here, I try to remember what one person was giving tips about it. He was telling you to build certain monsters. A certain combo is great against is a good combo, and I didn't really pay attention. I should have been initially, so I was scrambling to try to figure out which combo I should do, and I really didn't know. I didn't really remember, so I just kept thinking like, oh, maybe I should build more range units. And well, at first I built air range units, and it wasn't as effective, because when I tried to, my goal was to like slowly snipe them one by one, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I should try to look for certain characters and try to snipe them. And for the most part, I wanted to basically snipe the weak characters, like say, the ones that can resurrect other players. That was the main goal. I thought, oh, maybe I should disrupt those players, like kill them all. And once I kill off those players that resurrect other players, then chances are they cannot resurrect. Then as each one dies, as they start slowly die off, they can't resurrect anymore. And that was the goal. like I wanted to slowly pick them off, and I think I only had like, yeah, I had 5 of them, and then I started moving out. I was like, okay, I'm gonna disrupt them. I'm going to basically kind of slow them down, snipe some of their players, and for the most part, it did disrupt them a little bit. I kind of was, I did start shooting the players, some of the players that were kind of behind them. I think I was shooting either the doctor, one of the players that were is like, they're like the doctor. And what happens is, the goal was to just kind of kill off the doctor, which is one of the healers slash resurrector. Oh, I was trying to snipe the rangers. Yeah, I sniped the rangers, but the only problem with that was the healer would come back and resurrect them. So it was actually good because I kind of delayed them. I had to push them back a little, and then I think I came here to try to get the doctor because the doctor. Oh, and then I just aimed for the necromancer. I was trying to snipe him, and I think my gargoyles are slowly dying off. Yeah, I lost like 3 of them, or I don't know how many I lost, but yeah, I think I lost a couple of them, and then I was slowly just trying to build up my towers here, and then I decided to get more gargoyles. I think that was the idea, to get more gargoyles. And then get more gargoyles to kind of like delay them, snipe them. Because as you shoot them, as you attack them with other creatures, with their spawns, they kind of have to move back. So that was my plan, to kind of just push them back, have them go back, push them back down and go. But yeah, that was my goal, to just keep pushing them back. And what happened was, it kind of worked out, not so much. And I think I was just trying to figure out other things I can do. Like, oh, maybe I should build another hero, which I should have done. And I just kept scrambling to try to figure out, because I knew that they were gonna get there. They were gonna get to the boss eventually, and once they get to the boss, I was gonna be destroyed. Like, that was my fear. Like, oh no, they're gonna come back. They're gonna come to me and kill my boss again. I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? So I was like, oh, I gotta build more gargoyles and kind of slow them down. And I think that was the plan. That was the plan, to just slow them down. So I was slowly making my way there, and I think I was trying to. I think I may have sniped them again. Sniped them again. I'm not 100% sure. I know I managed to snipe, or I attempted. I just know I attempted many times to try to snipe them. And then I was bringing my gargoyles down, trying to snipe them. That was the plan. Like, so you, as a Dungeon Master, you know exactly where they are. You know exactly where every player is. And here I'm trying to snipe the doctor. I'm trying to snipe the doctor. And I think they saw these, and then I kind of clumped them up over here. And then I came down here. And let's try to snipe someone. I think I went. Hold on, that was useless. He had so much health, it was kind of pointless. And I was just trying to use these gargoyles to kind of delay the inevitable. I was like, okay, I'm gonna shoot them from up here. They couldn't get me because I was just like, I was just slowly shooting them. They couldn't even attack these gargoyles because I was on the high ground. They had no vision on the high ground, so I just stuck with that. I just kept shooting them all out. Oh no, he used the spell to like capture my gargoyles. But it didn't last long. It didn't last long. I was like, oh, I gotta do something. Then I tried to roll around to attack the necromancer, but it wasn't a good idea. Oh, I started shooting the doctor. I started shooting the doctor. Oh, it looks weird, because I thought they had I think I know what happened. One of their players, the priest, they had a priest, I think he left the game. I don't know when he left the game, but they're supposed to be a priest. I know they're supposed to be a priest. I think that person left the game. So they only had one resurrector. Well, they had two. They had the doctor, and I'm not 100% sure if the doctor can resurrect. But I know the necromancer, the necro can resurrect because they can resurrect. But the only issue with the necromancer, necro, is that when you resurrect them, they actually don't have full health. Every time you resurrect, you only can resurrect them a certain amount of health until they are what's it called? Like when you resurrect them, they only get 60% of their original health versus 40% or something versus 100% with the priest. And I was trying to snipe this thing. I believe I sniped him eventually. I kept trying to snipe him. Eventually, I ended up just running back. It was pointless. I was like, oh shoot, I can't do that. I tried to snipe really bad. So I kept coming here, trying to delay them. I think what I should have done was also focus on my main base, because I should continue building those towers, and that is something very important. I think I came back here, I was like, oh shit, I gotta do my towers here. So right now, yeah, I've 8. I did a fair amount of damage. I should have continued that, because the longer you, the more you do that, it's just delayed me. I was doing really well. I was trying my best to try to snipe him. I think it worked. I think it didn't. It didn't. The paladin has this ability to redirect damage from like anytime another player, like he casts a spell on another player, and when the player gets hit, the damage gets redirected to the paladin. So that's a special ability. And so I'm over here. So this is what's going on. I'm over here. I'm scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. I was like, I'm gonna build a bunch of range units like last time because it worked very well. And something to note is that these towers, these cannon towers, are actually doing a lot of damage. I couldn't even believe they shot that far. So what happened is they were trying to come in, and as they come in, these towers would just shoot them. And look at his health. I mean, not this guy, because the paladin redirected the damage. It was trying to redirect. Look at that. His health just went depleted like 40%. It went down to like 40%. Now they're coming down this way, but it was pointless because these towers kept shooting them. Which was like, and I had my skeletal archers like kind of tanking the damage, and I also had my hero. Look at him! Oh, the archer died. He kind of just gets like. So this is like a really good strategy. You just build these towers to kind of just shoot them, and it was very difficult. By the time they get here, they basically die. Look at them. They had a difficult time breaking in because these towers were just destroying them. And it was a bit. And another thing was, I believe I got. I would say it was also because one of their players left, which was the priest. I believe they had a player though, which was the priest. He left like mid-game. So you see, these towers ended up helping a lot. It killed 3 out of 9 players that were still around. There was actually 10 players, but one of them, which was the priest. And I think they ran back to recuperate. They're like, okay, we gotta figure out a strategy because I had these towers that were just doing exceptional damage. It was so funny. And they ran back here to try to heal up and maybe make another run. And from here, they're like, we need to clear the something before the boss. I think they're talking about they need to destroy the towers before the boss. And now they're coming back for another. They're coming back for another one. They're like, okay, let's go. But you know, it's like those towers were just massacring them. Look at that. It's like once they come here, look, he's already half his health is gone because the towers were attacking him, and I had these skeletal archers shooting him, and then I kind of sniped the wizard with these skeletal archers, and then they just kept trying to push in, but it was hopeless. And then I think the doctor tried to resurrect. He resurrected them, but he ended up dying himself, which was pretty funny. And and then and then he was so I believe he called me GG. This guy said GG. That was before the doctor died. And then I was like, wait, what are you guys talking about, GG? It was GG because they didn't really have anyone to resurrect anymore. Especially like since the Necro died and the Doctor died, and they only had basically the Barbarian tried to come in here to try to take down the towers, which was probably not a good idea. And then he as he was running out, he ended up dying because of the towers and the boss and my skeletons. And I don't know who else was left. There was only 2 characters left, so it was just a lot of damage for them. So then I think I actually started building my wall. I started building. So they were saying GG. At that point, they were saying GG. I was like, wait, what? I was like, wait, what? I was like, how? I was like, oh, because they don't have any resurrection. I was like, oh. And that's what I continued building my tower, which is so funny. Like, I'm gonna build more towers. And I think at this point, everybody started leaving. One person left, and then the archer came, and I was just like, okay, you're dead, archer. I just sniped him, and this was a pretty fun game. I couldn't believe it. And the funny part was, I couldn't believe that I actually won as the dungeon master. It was so funny. I had no idea I was gonna win, and I won. I can't believe it using the strategy. So, if you're new to this game and you get selected a dungeon master, by all means use these strategies because it's a really simple strategy. Just research towers, get to the end of the game, get to the end of the second dungeon, build as many towers as possible, build a wall with some of your buildings to prevent them from attacking your towers. So just build your towers like, around your boss, in the back. Don't try to build the towers in the front because they're just knocking down in your bosses. And do the strategy that I did. I'd highly recommend it. It does work. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game. Hope you guys enjoyed this game. Be sure to check out my channel again for other games. I definitely will love to cast them, and I hope you guys have a good time. Bye.